My friends and I made this for you.
Being a mom of someone with autism, he is a Black man, he's a son, he's a brother. There are a lot of different aspects of his life.
Well, from a young age, I knew there was a stigma behind it. A big intersection between being Black and having autism is often being misunderstood. I think it's perceived a lot differently than it would be for somebody of a different race.
It's just like multiple identities stacked on top of each other. So it's really just navigating all of those separate and together. Where do I fit in certain instances?
A lot of the issues that, students have is the fact that we live in a world that's not designed for them.
I made it a point not to lose my identity as a Black man. And even if it looks differently than, the way a lot of my peers embrace it, I'm still always gonna embrace where I came from.
This project hopefully will help people understand, not just in the Black community, but everywhere in society. My name is Jackie Lorraine, and I am from St. Louis, Missouri. I am a higher education administrator, and I am the mother of 3 sons. James is my second son, my middle son, and he was distinctly, different from, my oldest son. James was always very, vocal and passionate, even as a kid.
I'm James Turner III. I'm 22 and I'm from North St. Louis County. I was officially diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when I was 9 years old. Of course, it was suspected that I had autism since I was in preschool, I would say.
I knew that he was different, but kids are different. So we sent him to a private preschool. James was the only Black boy in the class, and his behavior stood out. At the end of the year, they said that he couldn't return unless we took him to a psychologist, and he was screened for autism, which was mind-blowing. What? He was always pretty adamant about having a regular life, and even when he was a kid, he was like, I don't want to hear any of that. It's like, I'm going to college, I'm going to live on my own, and not allowing, this diagnosis or anything to hinder him from having that. And so that has been our journey. That's what we have been working on and working toward ever since that diagnosis. As a doctoral student, I wanted to research the impacts of students who had a diagnosis of autism and their experiences in college. And my journey down that path was parallel to my son's college experience. So as I was doing research, I was studying different journal articles, and there were very few research studies that included Black participants or were about the Black experience. So that experience, led me to add to the body of research about Black students and their experiences in college.
I'm KD Harris. I'm the co-founder and executive director of the social impact nonprofit Let's Talk LD. My particular areas of research include identity formation of neurodivergent learners and also post-secondary outcomes. So there are unique challenges when you're trying to address the needs of autistic individuals in the African American community. We recognize that within classrooms, there are implicit biases that really do inform how educators approach educating young people who are African American. When you add the additional intersectional layer of their autism, then you have, a recipe for an educator not fully understanding how to appropriately engage the individual and provide the appropriate supports.
My name is Cole Weaver. I am 24 years old, and I am a neurodivergent peer support specialist living in Cedar Park, Texas. I was originally diagnosed in about either the fourth or fifth grade by my school counselor and the special ed program at my elementary school.
Autism was never on my radar. I didn't know much about it. I didn't expect it. And it was a lot to process. But, I just rolled with it. And stigma didn't matter to me. What mattered to me was them getting the best education that they possibly could. And also getting, whatever services that they needed.
I'm Nia Montgomery. I'm 23. I live in Chicago, Illinois. I work in advertising currently, and I'm also a dancer. I was diagnosed in March. I think it was March 31st of this year, 2023.
Just going through the process itself, even when she was asking me the questions and I was able to answer certain things, it allowed me to sort of look inward as well in terms of some things that you don't really know, because once again, just in our community, it's not something that's well known in terms of the symptoms or anything associated with, what that would be, what that would look like.
There are notable gaps in research when it comes to understanding autistic individuals within the African American community. As researchers, it's important for us to understand the importance and the value of inclusive research, but too often we don't find that, for instance, autistic people are included as either researchers or as subjects of research studies. Too many times information that we're gathering from broader data sets are not disaggregated by race or by gender or even by specific diagnostic labels. And so I think there are terrible disparities, and there really is very little understanding of the more nuanced needs and challenges faced by African American autistics. Within the Black community, it is very difficult to really come to a place of diagnosis. There's so much stigma in our community. There's so many challenges around addressing mental health needs.
I knew that I was different from a young age, even before the diagnosis. I knew that I was treated differently by the teachers and the students. Them knowing that you have autism and being able to put a word to what made you different would really kind of affect your social life.
Autism is only one part of his identity. It's very interesting how that one piece of who he is can be magnified and totally, change how people engage with him.
Having graduated from high school at the age of 16 and going into college at the age of 17, there was a challenge there. That would be a challenge for a neurotypical person. It was a bit of a culture shock. You go from an atmosphere where there are licensed therapists on staff and where there are teachers who know that they're working with students who have mental diagnoses to an environment where people don't expect that.
An important thing that needs to be noted and cannot be stated strongly enough is that we need to prepare young people who are neurodivergent, particularly when they're African American and autistic, for transition into adulthood.
His desire was to go to a historically Black college or university. A lot of historically Black colleges and universities don't have the funding and resources to support, children, young people who have learning differences. They don't have the support systems in place. Ultimately, that experience did not work out. And so he transferred out of that environment and then went into a predominantly white institution. And there were systems in place, even though it was not considered an accommodation, there were systems in place that allowed him to thrive.
I think that having that easy access to therapy, was very beneficial for us. The teachers as well, really were accommodating in ways that they wouldn't have been in a traditional school.
I feel like I'm still trying to learn like what accommodations there are. It's not readily available. So I feel like I either have to like really dig or it's just not there.
There needs to be support regardless, and there needs to be conversations instilling hope into the families and into the children who are experiencing these diagnoses. There needs to be more intentionality about ensuring that Black children have diagnosis early and also get the support at the same time and not 2 or 3 years later.
I guess like I'm considered to have a disability, but disabilities are only disabilities because there's a normal versus a not normal, and that's what we're considered. But when there's 7 billion, 8 billion people in the world, you can't expect us all to be exactly the same. You shouldn't have to fit yourself into a box that you're not supposed to be in.
We all have our unique identities and nuances and personalities, and it's important for us to be more accepting and not limiting. In the Black community, I think that there's more awareness that's needed. I think it's important for people in the Black community to understand that despite this diagnosis, there are still opportunities to thrive and grow and learn, and autism shows up differently for different people, and that it's just time to embrace it. Embrace people who think differently, who act differently, who look differently, and so just being open and understanding.
As far as my career goals, I always wanted to do something where I could give back to my community. I grew up in Ferguson, Missouri. I grew up in North County, St. Louis. I'm familiar with a lot of the challenges that my community has faced. I really think that my story can help people, and I strongly believe that projects like this will help people, really come to understand the importance of finding value in people who may be different than themselves.
I think this project is a great opportunity to begin a very important conversation that has not typically happened. And I'm really hoping, most importantly, that it's going to create a space for other researchers to really focus time and attention on really understanding our deepening understanding of the more nuanced needs of African American autistic individuals.
The only way people are really going to be able to learn about it and grow to accept it is when people are more open and honest about it. And that may take time, but I think a lot of us need to take the step in being open about it.
It really is just being, in my opinion, differently abled. We all have different abilities, and you never know how you thinking different will make an impact, how it will encourage others, inspire others. So don't let how others may see you or how you may work differently than others affect you. Just keep going, because great things can come from it. So
it's okay to be, different. It's okay to be, to be neurodivergent is something that I believe people should embrace. And having that pride in your, neurodivergent identity, I think is, I think that's the most important thing I want everyone to know.
It's important for these talented people with autism to express that so people can say, look at what this person with autism can accomplish.
I want people to be optimistic about the future. And I believe with the right support systems in place, with the right services and assistance, that families who, have this similar experience, that they will be hopeful. Your child can talk. Your child can go to school. They can graduate from college. They can have careers. They can drive. And I believe as we continue to have these conversations, it'll open up the door for new opportunities, new resources. I want to tell a different story, and I want people to have hope. If you met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, because if you meet someone else, they're going to show up different. Just like if you meet one Black person, you've met one Black person. Don't underestimate what they can do and their potential, and give them the opportunity.